Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. We have a great crowd, and we do have an itinerary to get through, so I ask that you give me a couple minutes to go through sort of the formalities, and then we'll be on our way. First of all, this is a debate for the 51st Congressional District, so if you thought it was something else, you've come to the wrong place. First of all, I'm Aaron Popejoy. I'm the President of the El Centro Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Bureau. I'm also the chairman this year for the Joint Chambers of Commerce. Then we just are finishing up, wrapping up our fall mixer. Hopefully you were able to participate in that, and we thank you for being here. I want to thank the El Centro and Brawley Chambers Joint Governmental Affairs Group for putting this on and for putting on multiple events through the year just like this. These debates are an important part of the community and especially our chamber members hearing from their candidates. Tonight, our sponsors are SDG&E, Southern California Gas and Electric, and Sempra Energy Companies. And I would like to thank KXO Radio. They are broadcasting live right now on AM 1230. And the debate will also be available streaming from the chamber sites, both of them, in the coming days. So, a couple of those formalities. Turn off your cell phone. If you have a cell phone on you right now, make sure it's on vibrate or off altogether. There will be no verbal comments or questions from the floor tonight. All questions need to be directed to the candidates in a written format, and those forms are in the back on that table. I mentioned that earlier. Josh Mercado is collecting those. He's our question person tonight, and Ron Hull on the other side would be able to gather some as well just to expedite that. We will not be able to get to all of your questions, I'm sure, but we are sorting through them and finding the most relevant ones. And I assure you we're doing everything we can to stick to a time format as well. So hope that we can get to your question. The restrooms and emergency exits. We have exits on both sides and in the back where you came in. The restrooms are out there in the patio area. There's a building out there. So there aren't porta potties. It's a real deal. Prior to the start of the debate here, the candidates drew for seating positions. So the positions you see in here are random. Let's see, what else? I'd like to ask the candidates specifically to address the audience instead of the questioners. They're right here in front of you, so it might be easy to just look at them. But we have a good audience tonight, and I thank you all for being here. This is a private debate event. We invited the community as an audience for this. So again, I remind you that we'd like you to express yourself in writing and keep things quiet. Let's see. The order of the draw. Incumbent, Congressman Bob Filner is on your left. Challenger Nick Popaditch on the right. Let's give him a hand for being here. Thank you very much. And we have a lively audience this evening. Thank you. All right, let me explain the rules real quick here. There are time limits on statements, answers, rebuttals, and those responses will be strictly enforced. Timekeeping is being done through a time machine up here. A green light will come on when the candidate has 30 seconds left. The amber light announces 10 seconds, and the red light indicates the candidate must stop. If necessary, the timekeeper, Sebio Arbayo up in the front there, will ring a bell 2 to 3 seconds after the final stop sign is given, and I will immediately interrupt the candidate and stop the statement or the answer. Adherence to the subject matter is important. I will interrupt any candidate if I believe the candidate is straying from the subject matter, to the best of my ability. The candidates will not be allowed to interrupt one another. Questions that are presented shall relate to the subject only. If a questioner violates this rule, we'll restate the question. And the moderator may restate any question that is unclear. So if you need me to, I will do that. If I remember the question. All right. So I'm going to start with opening statements, and I'll remind each candidate that you have 2 minutes to do this. And we will start with Mr. Filner. You have 2 minutes. Go.
Good evening. It's great to see you all. This is one of the great aspects of American democracy, the town hall, the debates, That's what makes politics so exciting here in America, that we have this free expression and free choice. And I want to thank the El Centro Chamber and the Brawley Chambers of Commerce for sponsoring this and getting us here together. I would like, before I really get started on the issues, to take a moment, sadly I think, to express my disappointment in the manner in which this campaign has been waged by my opponent. It has become, I think, the politics of slime. My patriotism has been challenged.
2 minutes are counting.
My patriotism has been challenged. My courage questioned. My family smeared. The loyalty of my late father, who is a highly decorated World War II veteran, has been questioned. I've been accused of favoring burning American flags. I've been accused of favoring illegal immigration and insecure borders, favoring child pornography. That's just to name a few. And I've had enough of it, and I respect the service and sacrifice of my opponent while serving in the military. But I'm disappointed by his attempts to focus on personal attacks and not stick to the issues in this campaign. Quite frankly, Mr. Popaditch, it's not what I expected, and it is conduct that is unbecoming. I am going to stick to the issues tonight. Jobs, health care, veterans, border issues. We're going to talk about my program for jobs for this valley, the health care bill that we have passed, the veterans program that I have been proud to take charge of in the United States Congress as the chairman of our Veterans Committee, and of course, border issues. I see a lot of my friends who I've been working with in local politics out here, whether it's Sheriff Loera and trying to get the telecommunications system in, whether it's Mayor Solomon of El Centro to get alternative energy in. So we're going to talk about those tonight.
Mr. Popaditch. Time begins now.
When I first got in this congressional race, because I'm from Chula Vista, I'm not from the Valley. I visited out here, and I was embraced by the community because they said, if you're going to represent out here, you got to get to know the community. And they took me around, and I was just amazed at this place that I had driven by so many times on the freeway but never stopped. And what out here was a desert that had been turned into a breadbasket. I seen a survivor's mentality out here. I seen hard people out here who know the difference between an entitlement and a promise, who understand that hard work is how you get results out here. And I said, these people are survivors. This is exactly the sort of place I want to represent. I want the honor of representing. And I was very encouraged by this. And one thing I heard consistently out here was two things. Was they said, don't forget about us after you get elected, because they seem to feel that was a big problem out here. And the second one is, stop pulling the rug out from under us as a government. And I said, okay, I can do those things, because my platform is how to bring jobs back to here. Limited government, strong national defense, secure borders, and let's protect our families. All these things bring jobs back to our community. And so I thank you for coming out tonight, and I look forward to differentiating the difference between myself and Mr. Filner, because in my opinion, your congressman needs to be able to answer 4 questions. What is it the constituency wants? What is it you desire? And I found it funny that he opened up with saying that town halls are such a vital part of democracy, because he didn't find them very important during the health care debate. Is it constitutional? Is it moral? Is it ethical? And I look forward to proving to you that I can answer all 4 of those questions better than Mr. Filner. Thanks for coming out, and hope to have the honor of representing you.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right. I am going to now introduce our questioners. Closest to me is Sharice Alford, and on the other side of her is Jennifer Goodsell. They're both part of our Governmental Affairs Committee. Our question gatherer, Josh Mercado in the back, is also a past chairman of the Joint Chambers of Commerce. And our moderator, or our timekeeper up front, is Sebio Arbayo, and he's running the lights. So let's get on to question block 1.
Okay, thank you, Aaron. Mr. Filner, the number of business closures and others leaving over the last year is staggering. What do you attribute this to? And what will you do to correct this trend?
We have, I'm sorry, 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
You know, the The economy is in the valley here or across the United States, of course, is nowhere near than what we want as Americans. And we had come to the brink of a collapse with our banking system several years ago. We have moved back from that brink, but we have not yet created the jobs that is necessary to bring the full prosperity back to America. There's lots of ways to do that, and in the valley especially. You know, my plans for the valley, and I've worked with the councilmen and the mayors that are in this room, is to make Imperial County the alternative energy capital of the United States. We have put together a team of people, a cross-section of this community, elected officials from federal, county, state, local level, IID, to say we want the tens of billions of dollars that were put aside for grants, for research, for manufacture, for distribution, for student training in alternative energy. Where else do we have sun 365 days a year but in Imperial County? So let us bring solar, let us bring wind power, let us bring geothermal, expand. We already have the biggest geothermal works in the nation right here in Imperial County. This is the future. This is the future in terms of our economic diversity. This is the future for thousands of jobs. Our students can be involved. Labor is involved. The whole county, the whole valley is ready to embark upon this venture, and that is going to bring us out of this recession that we have in the county.
Thank you, Mr. Filner. Mr. Popaditch, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, I got it.
Okay, thank you.
And funny, I never heard the how. I heard a whole lot of promises of what we're going to do, but I didn't hear the how. But let's start with the why. Why the businesses are leaving at a staggering rate. And it's because we're taking capital out of this community. We're taking capital out. The Bush tax cuts are up for renewal. They're up for renewal. We need to renew those Bush tax cuts and keep the revenue here in our district, keep the revenue here. Your congressman was UA, didn't even show up to debate that for your community. Now, 70% of our new jobs are going to be grown from small business. 70% of them are going to be grown from small business. If we don't renew that Bush tax cut on that upper percent, 75% of our businesses are going to suffer. They're going to suffer loss. We're not going to bring those jobs back. So the first thing we're going to do to fix it is to bring those Bush tax cuts back, lower the taxes, keep the revenue here in the community. Now, the next thing we need to do is deregulate. Stop putting the roadblocks up in front of business. The congressman brought up a lot of great green energy, and I'm not opposed to that. I believe in that. Just don't come to me with this, the earth has a fever logic, and I believe we could have this green energy. But we need to deregulate. There's a great individual, great American out there making diesel fuel out of manure. I said, this is brilliant. How much profit are you turning with this? He says, I can't sell it because I can't get through the permits. We need to deregulate. We need to get the government out of the way. When I come out here all the time, I pass a wind farm every time, back and forth. I don't see them out here, but I see it on that Indian reservation. Deregulation's the key. We can bring that green energy, we can turn up power, but let's not prop it up with federal tax dollars, not prop it up with other people's money. And the final thing, let's get rid of the unknowns. Obamacare, cap and trade, stimulus is bleeding jobs from our community. It's causing small businesses to not hire. Let's repeal this legislation. That's the how.
Fix that microphone. I cannot hear him. Fix the phone.
Radio check. How are we sounding now? All right, I apologize.
Mr. Popaditch, you'll have the opportunity to answer this question first. Will you require federal enforcement of the current immigration laws in our district? If no, why not, and what is your alternative to stop illegal entry into the United States?
Will I enforce federal law on illegal immigration? Absolutely. We have every law in the books right now to enforce the law. We need to protect American jobs. Now, with a name like Popaditch, I'm obviously for legal immigration. My family's an immigrant family. My family didn't come over on the Mayflower. I'm not opposed to it, but you're going to use the door. You're going to come through the right way and come the right way. And if we can clean up the illegal immigration, we can open that quota a little wider so that it doesn't take you 12 years. Because if you come here for the American dream and you got little ones, they'll graduate high school before you ever get it. And the reason it takes so long is because of all the illegal immigration. We can clean up. We already have all the laws in place. We make it illegal for you to be here. We have all the laws to do that. We have 287G right here in the state of California that empowers those local law enforcement to assist.